Although I live in Northern California, it may seem like this thing is impossible to drive in a city, as I usually find myself here in the Bay Area driving this oversized behemoth through the streets. Surprisingly, it's not that hard to drive. Yes, it is 6 inches wider compared to your standard F-150, but surprisingly, even with all this city driving, I haven't yet bumped into anything. I might have pushed a shopping cart on accident, however. I've been owning this 2017 Ford F-150 Raptor 2nd gen, and I've been wanting to make a review on it since the beginning of this year, but with everything going on with the world, especially currently, I can't even film outside anymore, thanks to the California fire. But I'm still gonna go ahead and make this 1-year review video to help those that are trying to do research and understand more about the ownership experience when it comes to owning a 2nd generation F-150 Raptor. So here's the truth about everything that there is to know about owning this dinosaur. Now, although Ram recently unveiled their version of the Raptor, which doesn't use Fox racing suspension, so I'm not sure how that thing's gonna jump. The Raptor, in my opinion, is one of the few or only pickup trucks available that's technically Baja 1000 ready. And with all these mods straight out of the factory, it still is covered under warranty. For starters, everything you see on this truck is not just for looks, it's fully functional. The air vents you see on the fenders allow heat to escape, and the hood vent on top allows the engine to stay cool for maximum performance stabilization. There is a B-lock wheel option, which my Raptor is equipped with. I removed the wheels, but if you take off the beauty rings, you could always convert them to a real B-lock setup. 35-inch wheels is standard on all Raptors. I did, however, lift up the front with a leveling kit. I went with the performance spring system instead of a adapter that attaches on the spring. Now, I think that doesn't get covered a lot about the F-150 Raptors is only the 2nd generation actually has like an enhanced version of an all-wheel drive system. Let me elaborate a bit more. 4x4 is standard on all Raptors, but there's an important feature that's not really well talked about, and that is this for all. So basically 4-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, I mean. This mode allows you to actually daily drive when this is selected, and it's not 4x4 high or 4x4 low. It's basically an all-wheel drive system. This is a feature that a lot of F-150 conversions to Raptors always lack. This is exclusive to the Raptor only, and you can literally leave this on and drive it around. This is perfect in those slippery, wet conditions. Other things that separate the Raptor compared to other F-150s is the many different terrain modes you can select from. The most popular one is Baja mode. With Baja mode, I noticed that the turbos are constantly spooling, allowing this beefy twin turbo setup to always maintain its boost when you need it. But the cool thing I like about the Raptor is you don't have to be that experienced when it comes to off-roading. If you're unfamiliar with what mode you need to select, like 4-wheel drive high or low, if you select a mode, the system itself will shift everything automatically for you. Now, a funny thing I noticed about the 2nd generation Raptor is a lot of people like to criticize it over the exhaust note for some odd reason. I always find this funny. To me, it sounds perfectly fine. It honestly doesn't sound like any other car on the road, which I like. In fact, it reminds me a lot like a Warthog from Halo. Now, you might have noticed that my mirrors automatically fold whenever my vehicle is locked. That is because I use Ford Scan. If you're unfamiliar with what Ford Scan is, it's kind of like jailbreaking your iPhone, but on the pickup truck. Because of this, I'll be able to give my Raptor Lincoln type features, such as the key fob security, where if the truck is left on idle, if there's no key fob inside the vehicle, it's not gonna let you select gears. And then I also took off the fake engine noise that was played through the speakers. Maybe this is the reason why people are like criticizing the Raptor for the engine noise, because in a way Ford was actually trying to hide it. In my opinion, it sounds a lot better without it. Now, my truck is equipped with the 802A package. In other words, it's fully loaded with all the bells and whistles. So I have the key fob remote start, as well as the full 360 camera, which the resolution on these cameras aren't that bad. I have blind spot monitoring integrated on the taillights with the flashing lights on the side view mirrors. And I also have lights on every panel of every corner of this pickup truck. And then just like the first gen Raptors, the second gen is still floating around the MSRP price when these things were first launched. Here in California, I'm still able to find a pre-owned Raptor around 50 to 60,000. Somehow vary on the mileage, of course. So you might have noticed I have a couple of aftermarket parts on my Raptor, and the community for these aftermarket parts is massive for such a halo pickup truck. For instance, I have the Baja design lights right here that's specifically designed for the Raptor, as well as the grill lights, which these things get insanely bright. I have aftermarket Pacific wheels for the Raptor from Venom Rex. These are 20x9. And yes, I did keep my original OEM beadlock wheels that I plan on swapping back in case I need them if I'm going to a place that I'm gonna do some serious off-road, as I originally had planned for this year, but thanks to 2020, I mean, I haven't had a chance. With that said, let's go ahead and get inside the truck, drive it around, talk about the pros and cons, and more about the performance. Now, before we start driving the vehicle, I just want to cover the back seats, because back here literally feels like I'm inside a limousine, especially if you're sitting like in a center row seat. Not only do you have ventilated vents over here, but these rear seats for the 802A package, they actually are heated for your rear back passengers. There's a regular 12 outlet right here, as well as some 2 dual USB ports right here to plug in like electronics like your phone or iPad. And then you have the household outlet back here as well, so you can plug in like a laptop and such. There's 2 cup holders back here, cubby seats in the back in both the driver and passenger seat. And not only that, there's an armrest right here, which actually, if you push out, has cup holders. So you have a total of 4 cup holders for the 3 passengers you could have back here. Kind of overkill, but pretty awesome. Oh, and don't forget, there's also additional cup holders on the doors, on both of these back rear doors right here. It's really crazy how many drinks you could fit back here. And the rear seats, of course, fold up, giving you this nice flat access right here for plywood or other stuff you want to fit back here. Just unfortunately, the doors don't fold all the way out like some heavy-duty pickup trucks do, but this isn't that type of vehicle that you want to take to work, really. If you do, well, you have the disposable income to take something like this. But yeah, let me just say the back seats back here is massive. It literally feels like I'm in a limousine, and looks really nice too from this point of view. Especially when you consider that this truck actually has the dual panoramic moonroof up here, which yes, you could fully cover as well, but only the front driver's side and the passenger side will actually fully open up. Now, real quick, before we start driving, security things, there's actually motion sensors back here. So when you lock your vehicle, these little holes right here will actually turn on. They're motion sensors, so if the glass breaks or you leave a door unlocked, if it detects any movement inside this vehicle, your alarm will go off and will send you a push notification to your smartphone. Other interesting things too that's worth talking about is both the passenger and the driver's seat are remote controlled, so you can remotely adjust, as well as the lumbar support, which is really nice. This is still until the Ram comes out, the TRX. Current pickup truck with actual paddle shifters, and will always be the first pickup truck that came equipped with functional paddle shifters. They're made out of aluminum, so if you smack them, they actually make like a titanium metal sound, which is kind of awesome. Besides that, I mean, normal wear and tear, the interior is actually holding up really well, except for the steering wheel, which I plan on probably swapping out for a carbon fiber one in the near future. If you're a company that sells those, feel free to send me one. I'll make a full video tutorial on how to install it, if you don't mind sending it to me for free, for review purposes, right? But besides that, let's go ahead and take this thing on a drive. All right, so let's go ahead and quickly talk about the powertrain and all that good stuff. So it's really basic and simple. It's 450 horsepower and 510 pound-foot of torque is what this twin-turbo 3.5 liter V6 can put out. I've seen other users get more power out of this engine by a simple tune without spending that much money on internal components, which is really impressive. 0-60 time typically is around the 6 seconds under normal driving conditions. I think the fastest I've seen somebody achieve was a low 4-second 0-60 time. The handling, the brakes, it drives like how it looks like. It's large, it's heavy, but believe it or not, it handles a lot better than your standard pickup truck you'll buy, like a 1500 or an F-150. I noticed that this suspension setup handles a lot better than your standard pickup truck and goes around corners impressively well for a large pickup truck that weighs almost 6,000 pounds. Now, as being a tech head like I am, running a tech YouTube channel, also a car enthusiast, this vehicle is equipped with all the bells and whistles that you need. You got ventilated seats, heated seats for both the driver and passenger side. You have Apple/Android Auto, so you have Apple CarPlay and all that good stuff. It's connected with a 10-speed transmission, which has a lot of overdrive gears, even though the MPG isn't really that great, but a lot better than what older trucks used to be. My MPG typically average anywhere between 14 to like the high 18s. If I'm just traveling on the highway, I would typically average like 18 miles per gallon. But if I'm driving in the cities and such, I usually just average 14. And when you switch this truck to sport mode, I noticed that the transmission and the throttle response has been significantly improved, as the transmission will actually hold gears a little bit longer. And the twin turbos really do come in handy when you have to merge into traffic, because I'm already going over the limit. And if I ever want to pass somebody, one of those twin turbos are right there and always activated during highway speeds. I could just boost it if I want to. And that's just on normal mode. On sport mode, like I said, it holds the RPM longer. So needless to say, it's a fun truck. This engine is reliable. I never really had issues with it. I just had to do 2 recalls, but it was just simple things. Like, one was a passenger wire is known to overheat and may cause like a fire, which got resolved by a little heat shield installation, and that's it. And then another recall was something doing with the door latch, which actually these doors do have the little pin entry in case you lose your key or you want to leave your key inside your car while you're going out to the beach or something. That's standard on the Raptors. And also, since this is the 8028 package, this is a mixed hybrid between old analog gauges and a giant LCD display, which gives you a bunch of information, especially when you're off-roading. But besides that, this is my most favorite car I ever owned. It's multi-purpose. It not only handles incredibly well on the streets, but it can also do off-road. So if I want to go to Lake Tahoe or play it around in the snow or mud, I could do that while also having a bed so I could haul furniture around and have plenty of space for family or friends and other passengers I may want to put in the back there, so they could fit comfortably. And yes, all 2nd gen Raptors have the auxiliary ports on top already installed, so you don't have to drill holes or anything like that to add some additional aux switches. So yeah, there's my review ownership experience with my 2017 Ford F-150 Raptor. I again absolutely love this truck. It easily turns head. It's basically the Ferrari of pickup trucks in my personal opinion. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you're a serious buyer and you have some questions, feel free to comment down below. I'll see if I could try to get back to you and reply to your question. But as you saw, my ownership experience has been so far positive, but I highly recommend to get that extended warranty if you can. Better be safe than sorry than having to pay for like $10K for an engine repair or something like that. If you'd like to see more Raptor content, make sure to check out my other car channel on YouTube, which you could easily subscribe to right here. I've done an accessory video right over here, and then this video over here is another video I posted on that channel talking about the things you should look for when buying your 2nd gen Raptor. Anyway folks, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you all in the next one. See ya.